My friend Eden convinced me to join a month-long game jam. It's Indiecade's Climate Jam 2026. Apparently they've been doing this since 2018, and this year's theme is Plant a Seed. These game jams are meant to bring awareness to and support positive action about climate change problems, and it's a month long, but it's split up into different sprints and deliverables. So week 1 is just ideation. That's just going to be concepting, prototyping, and figuring out everything that's going to happen in the game. We got together a little team. There's me as a pixel artist and Eden as the programmer. We also have one more artist, Jade, one more programmer, Max, and then we have Davin, who's our narrative/story guy, and Hope, who is doing all of the sound and music. I think we've got a pretty nice spread, and we all get along super well.
And they should know that we are the enemy. We are not rivals with one or two of them. We do not have some petty squabbles. No, we are the enemy. They will look to us and cower. We will be the ones to defeat. But in the end, even all of their coalesced efforts will not topple our combined and imperious will.
All right, you're getting clipped, buddy.
I'm gonna fight with 5 other people right now.
That was so
Bro.
powerful.
That is so peak. That is so
fucking
peak.
scared.
So the game idea we came up with is that you're going to be playing as a little robot on a planet like Earth centuries after the collapse of humanity due to climate disaster. You're going to need to be planting seeds and restoring biomes and ecosystems, as well as figuring out what happened in the past and what went wrong to prevent it in the future. We decided to take inspiration from things like Eastward's color palette and a lot of other different sources to determine the art direction. And this video is just going to cover our process throughout ideation week. We were super excited for day 1, and most of us got into call together to join the Zoom meeting that Indiecade put on.
I can watch the Indiecade stream through this.
Through this. That's so
Indicate
great.
stream. Oh my god.
Who the fuck?
Oh my god! I just got
What a-
outswagged.
Oh, what a colorful person.
I like how we could so just like turn on our mic and talk to these people.
They did like a kickoff video, and there was different speakers. There was a room of ASU students, and it was fun to just be together as the jam started. And then we didn't stick around for the entire thing, but we just kind of dove right into our specific parts. And I knew my main task for today was to design the player character. During the Zoom, I kind of sketched out a few ideas. All I really knew is that there needed to be a tank and there needed to be a way for them to move. So first I kind of went with treads, but I later thought of this gyroscopic, like rotating ball situation that they would kind of pivot on and balance on. So I was sending sketches back and forth to my team, and Eden suggested what if it was more of a rounded square rather than a capsule, and I thought it was super cute. Once I had a few ideas, I took it into Aseprite just to see how it looked in a pixelated version. Again, it's only in the ideation phase of the game jam, so I'm not making any final assets, but I really needed to take it into Aseprite to see how they would look pixelated. We decided to go with the square in the end. I think they're super cute and it kind of gives more space for the plant inside. And I also decided to add this little tank of algae. One, because I needed some more color. He's supposed to be like a solar punk creation, like his creator really cared about the environment and would use materials from it, so green just made sense. And when I added this little algae tank, it gave me an idea for an energy resource. Maybe this algae acts as kind of like a solar panel, like storing energy for the robot to then use. Seems like something it would be able to do, having been made by an eco-conscious creator. While I was sketching, Eden was setting up the GitHub. She got started on setting up the player character, some basic collisions, and our other programmer got started on the movement. Max got a free set of assets to use just to get the collisions set up, and he even was able to get the Y sorting correct by the end of the day.
It works. So
Now
once you
go
get
behind
the,
the
you
bush
like,
again.
you know,
Yeah, go behind the bush.
I
Yeah, go
didn't
behind
do
the bush
stairs
again.
yet. I didn't do stairs yet. Hold on,
Go
hold on.
behind the bush.
Oh,
Behind the
oh,
bush.
Oh my god.
Wow,
That is
that's
so
crazy.
cute.
No.
They're
Oh.
so
Game of the
cute.
year. Dude,
And
game
like
of
you
the
can
year.
see it.
Jade was also in call with us for a long time. His task for the art was concepting the plants for today. So we decided we're gonna start by just having like 5 different sets of plants. and we talked about invasive plants. So we kind of decided a big hazard in this world was going to be invasive plants. Hope was also in call, gathering a bunch of references for music, and she sent us a sheet with all the references she's looking at. And finally, Davin was out for most of the day doing something with his friend, but when he got back, he made this diagram of plot points, and it looks pretty nice. After I took a little break and came back, I also really wanted to get an idea out of my head from the start. Jade was working on the plants, but also working on kind of the map layout, and he also designed an idea for the hut that the player starts in. But from the start of us talking about this game, I had a picture in my mind of what this beach looked like. So I used Jade's map design and the colors from Eastward and mocked up a picture of what I thought the beach could look like. I really like it. I like it being more grounded in the beginning, and we're thinking of adding some of the purple sand later on, a little further away from the starting point, to still show that corruption. Have it be familiar at the beginning, and then you discover the corruption and stuff that's happened to the land because of the climate disaster. We just stayed in call for a while today, joking around and talking about the game, and it was super fun, and I'm so excited to do it again tomorrow. Day 2 for me was spent mostly working on the UI. It went through a lot of different sketches between my own ideas and my team's ideas. A big thing we talked about today was how the incubation mechanic was actually going to work. I think my original fear was just that this mechanic inside your inventory was going to be more interesting than the mechanics outside your inventory, but the easy solution to that is to just make the mechanics outside of your inventory more fun. So eventually that determined a lot about how the UI would go. So after a lot of back and forth and sketching, I had a good idea of what I wanted to look like. So I really wanted you to kind of navigate your inventory like a file system. The tabs are vertical on the left, and there's one tab in the almanac, which is going to be where all of the information you know about any plant is stored. And because if this was a full game, there would be a lot of plants to keep track of, there would be different folders. So you'd have to click through to it like an actual folder in a file system. Once I kind of know what it looked like, I took it into Aspray to mock up a basic inventory, which Eden then took into the game engine to actually program the inventory, and she got it to work with different stacks, and the item will go into the leftmost open slot and all that. At the same time, my artist teammate Jade was absolutely cooking on these tiles. This isn't even the final tiles, these are just ideation week tiles, but they made sand and water. The water tile they made was so cute. Oh my goodness. He was struggling with the sand at some point, and I offered my help because they were doing like little grains of sand, but I felt like they needed to be bigger shapes, so I found this image online. And after that, the sand just took off and it looks super cute now. And they also made some tiles of rock. Meanwhile, Hope was designing some different pickup noises, and out of all these options, me and Eden agreed we liked number 3 better with the hand chimes. And she also made this early beach music theme, which I kind of felt was super like upbeat and hopeful. So I was saying maybe as the beach gets restored, this could start playing. Max was working on the NPC interaction / dialogue, and Eden was working on the inventory system like I talked about before. Davin was thinking about the NPCs, and we had a discussion about what types of NPCs we would have. For day 3, I was basically out all day with my friends at the beach and a pool, and it was super fun, even though the heat made me a little delirious. But while I was out, I got to watch Jade putting their plant concepts into Pixel. They're genuinely beautiful, and I love all the colors they used, and they even set them up in different growing stages. Towards the end of the day, I had a couple of hours to work, and I really wanted to design the lab. The lab is going to be an interesting area to find during the game. It's going to be kind of this big factory that was doing a lot of bad things for the climate, but it's also going to enable you to do different functions. You're going to have to kind of fix it up and turn it into something that's good for the climate rather than bad, but when you find it, it's going to look very menacing. So I first designed this building that you would come across, kind of based off of these old rundown plant covered factories and buildings. In my mind, the lab was kind of just a building that you find that you can access, and my team really liked the idea and vibe, but then they suggested maybe that it could be bigger. Eden said maybe you wouldn't even be able to see all of it on one screen. It's just this massive, imposing area. So I designed it to look just like that, and that also gave me the idea to put it a little bit in the water. So it's not just going to be on land, it's also going to be in the water, polluting the water, so then once you unlock the ability to swim or the ocean biome, you would have to deal with the factory even more. And I think this looks way better. These past couple of days of ideation week have been super fun, and this is probably the biggest example that I've had where making multiple different concepts and ideating with your team really produced something much better in the end, and it was just super fun. I really liked the factory being its own entire area, kind of a biome in and of itself, rather than just one small building you find. For days 4 and 5, Eden finished the inventory system and got thinking about the plant system. Eden had a really cool idea for how the biodome would function and how it would teach the player about the different plants. As a plant is in your biodome, you're going to get hints as to what the plant does, and this is going to tie into our mechanic of planting them in the real world, where plants are going to affect the different plants around them. She also came up with the idea of centerpiece plants that would have a large effect on the plants around them in a radius, like a massive redwood tree. And maybe these would be quest rewards from our NPCs. And that gave me a really great idea to have a really big biodome tank in the lab that would have housed some sort of massive plant. I also spent one of these days fixing up and detailing my concept art of the lab and getting the colors closer to what I think they should be, which is perfect because on day 5, Jade started working on the grass tiles, which is going to be what the lab is on top of, so I'm going to use Jade's grass colors to inform what the lab should look like. They also fixed up the water and sand transitions, as well as the transition from the sand to the grass. Our other programmer, Max, was working on the day and night cycle, as well as the lighting, because part of our biodome structure is going to be that you have to add a light source to it, and it's going to kind of give you a glow even when it's nighttime. Davin was cooking up on the NPC backstories and dialogue, and I was able to use these to make sketches of what a couple of the NPCs might look like. So I sketched out the sea turtle based on his descriptions of being a little bit older, more damaged, cracks in the shell. I even added some barnacles, which everybody really liked. This was the one we knew we were going to have in the beach, but he also had the idea of having a cassowary in a forest, or we could put it in the grassy areas. This NPC is going to dislike the player at the beginning and be very untrustworthy of them. I added similar types of damage to the cassowary, where one of its fingers would be missing talons. And to decorate the large area of feathers on its body, I wanted to add kind of like beaded braids almost, but they might be seeds, because cassowaries are a large distributor of seeds, which is why we're going to have it in the game. Hope made a different beach music sound that's a little less epic overall and more of just calming background noise, which I really like. And tomorrow is Monday the 6th, and we have a meeting scheduled where we're going to talk about a lot of things because it's going to be the last day of ideation week. On day 6, I spent a little while before the meeting fleshing out the factory. I really focused on what you'd actually be doing there. Part of it is going to be for those centerpiece plants, and part of it is going to be the lab with the different tanks and the splicing mechanic. I also thought a building for the previous workers' living quarters and kitchen would be fun. So I gathered a lot of references and sketched it out, as well as making a little diagram for how it would look in the world. I took inspiration from Spiritfarer, with how the character in Spiritfarer jumps around the world. It's a 2D game, but you can go very vertical with it, and there's all these platforms you can run around on, ladders you can climb, and it's just super fun to traverse. And I wanted the player to do a similar thing on the outside of the factory, and get between the buildings from the outside ramps and ladders. Jade finished up his grass tiles and set up the tile map in a finished layout, and he designed some seeds for each of the plants he already made. And Eden was working on programming the biodome. Then it was time for our meeting. We had to submit a design document to the game jam, so we spent a little while filling out Indiecade's template, and then we talked a lot about things that we weren't exactly on the same page about. Now we're all really on the same page about which NPCs we're including, the purpose of each NPC, and the biomes. And then we just talked about our next steps and the timeline for finishing. We spent a little bit showing each other the progress we've made. As an artist, they've already seen all of my work because it's just screenshots, but it was especially cool to see Hope in their music program. I've never seen this program before because I've never made any music, but Hope showed us their music, and I'll just let it speak for itself.
This is beautiful.
Yo, what the hell? This is awesome.
close my eyes
perfectly.
and shit.
Golf clap, it's not even over.
It's a shame this isn't like our intro or our main menu music.
Yeah. Oh god, this is gorgeous.
Max and Eden also gave us a little tour of their GitHub Godot project. Max has the item and dialogue interactions pretty set, and Eden showed us the scripts for the biodome and kind of explained how it worked.
It's
Me.
What is he gonna say? Whoa!
Oh my god, it's Arsene?
Arsene.
Davin has also been hard at work making specific backgrounds, missions, and dialogue examples for every NPC. And now that we have it narrowed down to just 3, we're gonna have the sea turtle in the beach, the cassowary in the forest, and we might start working on a beaver, whose purpose is gonna be more for teaching us how to build both our environment and buildings as well as ourselves. So I think that's a really cute idea. That's it for Ideation Week. We have 1 day of grace period before we jump straight into the pre-production sprint of this game jam. During this day, we get to look at everybody else's design documents and review them on itch, so we can give and receive some feedback. I'm also using this day to relax a little bit and edit this video, and I hope to have another one just like it for the next sprint of this jam. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you're excited to keep up with the development of what we are now calling Project Provita, which is a blend of perseverance, vitality, and provide. Thank you, Davin.